We have a little over 1 month to go until the release of Ironheart, and ever since the Ironheart trailer disaster took place days and days ago and got ratioed across all forms of social media, because the majority of Marvel fans are seeing the series for what it truly is. This is the typical messaging coming from the Walt Disney Company, from Marvel Studios, and mind you, this series has been on the shelf for like 2.5 to 3 years. It went through various reshoots and setbacks and rewrites, and also had a marketing campaign where the funds were slashed by a very, wide margin. What's interesting about this too is the fact that we have Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, who actually went into damage control, and now we have Dominique Thorne, alright, going against Marvel fans. She is the star of the show. She is the one that plays Riri Williams, who is Ironheart in this series, and, well, let's get into the overall details about that. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about Ironheart is that a lot of Marvel fans are seeing this show for what it really is. It's basically a product that nobody asked for. It's a series that was based on a comic back in 2016 under Disney that was cancelled, mind you. We have to take that to note that this is actually a series based on a recent comic, alright? It's not like a comic that was like from decades and decades ago. This is something that was just brought into reality in 2016, and it didn't even last that long. And so Disney thought it was smart to make a series out of this thing, and it's really not working in their favor at all. If anything, this is going to be the Acolyte 2.0, if not worse than that. However, with the Ironheart trailer disaster already a nightmare for both the Disney Company and Marvel Studios, one major development going on now involves how the Ironheart series marketing campaign recently got even worse, with actress and star of the show, Dominique Thorne, delivered the following. In a desperate move, of course, to double down on the series after the backlash. I don't think Marvel fans, she says, really understand Riri Williams, and that all the noise we have been hearing is just blown out of proportion. I would absolutely say and defend her as a character that she went through more issues than Tony Stark and Iron Man ever did. She is no billionaire. She is one, of course, she is not coming from a place of privilege. She is a woman using her smarts at a street level to better herself, something that we never saw Iron Man ever do in any of the films. Now guys, I gotta stop right there. We actually saw Iron Man do something at a street level. We saw this in Iron Man 3 when his home was destroyed to bits. We actually saw this where he actually had to fly, to a certain location where he had pretty much no resources available to himself other than the scraps of his suit, and he had to fix that. So he did deal with those challenges. Let's not forget about the original Iron Man in 2008. He was held in captivity. He built a suit in a cave. I think that a lot of these actresses and those connected to Ironheart are forgetting that. Moving on. I think the fans need to stop and take a closer look at Riri Williams. She may not have the wealth of Tony, but she sure as hell holds the smarts over Tony because of the street level threats that she actually has to deal with, and that Tony never dealt with on his own. It sort of reminds me of what Spider-Man had to go through. It's Ironheart, of course, and this character is such better, and a character that should be respected by fans. I don't think they really realized this character is one that goes through so many challenges in her life. More challenges than Tony ever did. The audience, I feel, just needs to stop obsessing over whether or not she carries the mantle of Iron Man, or respects the Tony Stark legacy. We shouldn't be focusing on Tony Stark at all, but rather, who can succeed him? That's our focus. I think Marvel fans need to give Riri a chance. As a character to express herself, she is a powerful female role model for younger fans out there, and a powerful figure for diversity. I would say this is our most diversified show, and I am so proud to be a part of it, for the sole reason. And to finally see our series finally releasing, it's just a comfort to know that we finally made it to this point. In the series, you will see how she succeeds Tony Stark and the legacy of Iron Man at a street level. And I don't want to give anything away, but I think it's going to surprise many fans of the Marvel Universe. In the beginning, we did have more references to Tony, but in the end, we decided to let's backtrack on that one, and just focus on Riri instead. And so we did that with some of the revisions that were applied to the series. Now again guys, I think what Dominique is actually referring to and alluding to here are the reshoots that took place, where Tony in the beginning, or basically Ironheart in the beginning was going to feature Tony. You know, references and callbacks to the character, you know, stuff like that, little Easter eggs here and there. Where now in the show, you're pretty much going to have a non-existent, I guess you could say, attention to Tony Stark, right? Now, what's interesting about this, again, is the fact that you have these actresses that believe that you have to focus on these characters just because. Watching the trailer, I didn't see anything that really made me care for the character. Like, why do I care about Riri Williams? Why am I actually caring about this character at all? What are the kind of challenges that she's going to have to go through? It just comes across like she's going to be another, another girl boss in Ironheart. Much like what we saw in the Acolyte series, much like what we saw in the Marvels and Captain Marvel, etc., and many other examples out there that fell under Star Wars and Marvel, right? This is the latest example of that, and the reason why this is another girl boss series, and we all know exactly that's what it is. She most likely will not have to go through any major challenges. She most likely will not have to go through anything that Tony went through in Iron Man 1 or even Iron Man 3. But interestingly enough, she goes on to conclude further, this is going to be a Marvel fan's dream come true for those that want to see a different take on the Iron Man legacy. Riri and her challenges in this show, I do feel it's going to inspire those to use any resources that you have available to make your dreams come true and to turn that into a reality. Riri is a dumpster diver in the series, yes, but she is using the scraps to create something iconic. Something that will, without a doubt, resonate with so many out there that if you have resources from powerful figures available, why not use them to your advantage? I don't think that's really great messaging there, guys. I don't know about you, but I think it's really bad messaging coming from Disney and Marvel to actually have a character as a dumpster diver, essentially stealing scraps from what once belonged to the smarts of Iron Man / Tony Stark, and kind of building it into something different, something quote-unquote iconic, right? That word is going to really be something that will be memed to no end once the series drops on the 24th of June, no doubt about that. Again, we know that Riri Williams, and her name is kind of a tongue twister at times, Riri Williams is going to be a character, I think, that really will go down on the same level as Osha and May in the Acolyte series because of how the character is just so forced. The acting is just not there, especially coming from Dominique Thorne. If you guys saw the trailer, the acting is cringeworthy, and we know that this series went through 2 failed test screenings already. That should be alarming enough for Marvel Studios and the Disney company. It should have nothing to do with misogyny or sexism or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. Just looking at the show's trailer, it is just something that shows nothing of value, right? The acting is not there, the directing is not there, the producing is lackluster, everything, even the CGI looks very, below level. Even the suit, it looks very odd. It's something that a lot of people are comparing it to, for example, of something like Gears of War or Transformers, a combination of that. But overall, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.